Hey, what's up guys, it's Kerry from Phoenix and Beau, and welcome to my first shave of 2019. Now, I'm just out on my skateboard at the moment. I've lost several minutes of my footage, so I thought I'd nip out quickly and get some more. Safe to say that that loss is through technical buffoonery on my part, but we'll get over to the shave where you'll join me at about 7 minutes in. Okay, see you shortly. Okay, so just to take you through the kit that I'm using today, as I've already alluded to, I'm going to use two blades. I'm going to start the first pass with my Weck sextoblade and see how I go with that. Slightly terrifying, but I've got to get used to it because I want to become proficient, and using that type of blade, building up to fully fledged, fully blown cutthroat razor. That's my intent for this year, for 2019. That's my shaving aspiration. Brush wise, I'm going to use my favourite brush, only one in existence, as I probably always go on about, but this is my 30mm Phoenix and Beau synthetic. I love the face feel, I love how comfortable it is in my hand, and its appearance is just exquisite. So we have here a pearlescent gold set into a jet black handle with our logo disc here on the bottom. That's aluminium, and it's thermally printed to this. So it's the same as our own smaller, more affordable Phoenix and Beau synthetics. That disc there, pearlescent white, these are just lovely. But I really I'm greedy. I like big chunky knots, and I like the absolute storm of lava that they generate. So yeah, we'll use this today. Soap wise, point to note, my bowl, we're actually speaking to Ross Giles of Giles Shaving Company. Now, you may or may not know that Ross is a very, very talented potter here in the UK. He's based over in Cardiff in Wales, and he made this for me. This was our Kickstarter. We tried a Kickstarter campaign back in spring of last year, which wasn't successful. That's another story. It was a great experience, lots of lessons learned, and we took a lot from that, and we made some good friends, Ross being one of them. So he made this bowl for me, and we went back to Ross because for this year and moving ahead, we're going to be moving away from hard plastics in our product line because we just don't agree with them, and we're cognizant of the environmental damage that they cause. So in time, we're going to be, all of our packaging is going to be stripped out of the hard plastic tubs and changed to cardboard boxes. And if you're worried about that, if you love the convenience of the jar, the plastic jar, and being able to build your lather inside that, I understand that. But the environmental issues around plastics really is important to us. So we want to encourage you to use some earthenware, a nice ceramic bowl, and we thought that we would solve that problem by going back to Ross and seeing if he could make a bowl for us. And what we've got, so this was our 2018 version, and what he's done for us, this is the prototype, is this version, and there's a significant size difference, as you can see there. Okay, this is I don't know if you can kind of get a feel for the colour. It looks slightly bluish there. It's like a charcoal blue, and inside, in the interior, just along these lines here, there's like a gold tinge, and on the face aspects here, on these square facets, it sits behind the charcoal. There's like a goldish. What we briefed him with was we wanted like a black and bronze bowl, and for various reasons that pertain to chemistry and firing kiln chemistry that I don't really understand, but Ross is the absolute guru on that. He's described to me how there'll be a spectrum of colour in each bowl, so each one will have its own idiosyncrasies and will be slightly different to the other, but essentially you'll have this kind of dark matte charcoal blue finish with just little kisses of gold here and there. It's beautiful, it's really nice. It's much bigger than the 2018 version. You know, my hands are fairly big and it's a good size. It is a good size, but it really lets you build up a real good amount of lather just effortlessly. It's a really, really nice piece of kit. So yeah, we're going to be probably late spring, chatting to Ross. He thinks around about March he'll be able to get our first batch of these ready. So keep an eye on our website, and we'll share more nearer the time as to when they're likely to be available. So that's the bowl that I'm using. Inside the bowl is Iceni, and this is going to be our new core soap that we're going to be releasing either at the end of this month, January, or the end of February. But it's one to keep an eye out for. Now, Iceni it's resinous. There's a bit of spice in there. There's a citrus layer in there. It's very sensual. It's quite a deep, thick smell. It's quite grounding. It's very much unlike Trafalgar, our most recently released core soap. Trafalgar is green, it's ozonic, you know, it smells of the sea. Iceni is inspired by Boudica, the queen of the Iceni, and how we might imagine how they would anoint themselves during that period of time with, you know, spices and resins and, you know, scents of the earth. This is a really nice, you know, I said sensual. It is a very sensual smell, and it's lovely. I can't help but sniff it. So anyway, so this will be available in our tallow base, and we'll also be offering it as a post-shave botanical lotion, and also in the aftershave splash. So that's the soap that I'm going to use. Speaking of splash, I don't have any Iceni splash available, but I'm in the mood for some Star Noir splash because I love it. So that'll be the splash, and then possibly I might. It's very cold here in England at the moment, so my skin is quite dry in its nature, so I might get some of our balm on. Okay, let's wash the lather. Now you might know that our soaps can take a lot of water. I always start with quite a wet brush, and I'm not really worried about this proto lather at the top, which is kind of the bubbles are quite large, if you can see them there. I don't want that. I want the gooey, creamy, thick stuff that will become evident in a moment. You know, by all means, you can collect this and recycle it and get it back down into the bottom, get it back into the knot. I mean, already some would say that you could start to use that. I like to face lather, so I use my shaving brush and get it onto my face, and that's how I build my lather. But really, I'm just showing you how I suppose how awesome Iceni is, how stable it is, and it's just a shame that you can't smell it. You know, how much lather do you need? I'm greedy. I'm gonna load my knot a little bit more. Now already there, the lather's changed consistency, and it's turning into its kind of Greek yogurt. It's thick and heavy. Really nice. Oh, smells lovely. Right, okay, that's good enough for now. Put that down there. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you're okay. I hope January finds you well. And that you survive Christmas without too much issue. Christmas for me was pretty knackering, if I'm honest with you. Really knackering. Right, let me just pause there. I mentioned just a moment ago how thirsty our soap is. It's very greedy. So let's get some more water into the knot. Let's get that hydrated a bit more. I'm looking for a nice, silky, shiny lather. More water. Yeah, so Christmas was really knackering for me. Our children were off school for 2 weeks, 2 whole weeks. It just seems like a long time. I was mildly horrified when the preschool that our youngest goes to, and they said, "Okay, we'll see you on the 7th or 8th of January." I was like, "What? I thought it was a week." So yeah, it was very tiring. I mean, great, you know, I sound miserable, I suppose. I'm not miserable. It's a great family time, and I love it for that. But it was very tiring. Sarah and I have discussed this. Lots left there, lots and lots. Sarah and I, we're going to look at Christmas this year. I can't believe I'm speaking about Christmas 2019, but really just on reflection of the one that's just gone. We might do things a little bit differently this year, just because this one was so tiring. You know, in what other week would you? So for us, we had 4. You could classify them as dinner parties. 4 dinner parties in a 6-day period. When would you do that? You just don't, do you? Oh, it's Christmas. Let's go crazy and have 4 huge dinner parties where we eat and drink too much, and the house gets wrecked, and you know, everybody's a bit tired and fractious. So yeah, we're gonna maybe do things a bit differently this year. Anyway, enough about Christmas. Ours was good but tiring. I suppose that's how you could summarise it. And I obviously got this, which was really good of Sarah. Okay, let's start with this. Right, Weck sextoblade. What's scary about this is that I can't feel the razor. I can barely feel it. Feedback is minimal. What I'm focusing on is the angle of the blade, i.e. keeping it very shallow, minimal pressure. Ah, it feels lovely. These blades are super sharp. I'm teaching myself to use it left-handed also, just because it's not an efficient way of using the right hand on the left side of the face. I'm not great at it, but practice makes perfect, right? I just think these are so cool. I think shaving with a straight, it's just so classy, old school, and it is a skill. So another one of my Swedish pals is another YouTuber called Christopher Colliander. Christopher is like Frank. He uses these things almost with his eyes closed. He's just a consummate professional with this type of blade. He makes it look so easy. Very envious of their ability. That's the easy bit done. The tricky part now. Turning the corner here of my chin is, I think, the hardest part for me. What makes below my jawline very difficult to deal with are the contours of the way that my neck is formed. It's kind of concave slightly, it dips into my neck, and that's difficult to get to with the blade. That's just a structure issue. I'm stretching my neck like this just to try and keep tension in my skin. You know, I can increase that tension by using my hand, but that's not really necessary for this part of my shave up by my chin. See some soreness under there. I don't know if I've cut myself or keep an eye on that. This bit's so difficult, left side. Go back to my right hand for the side of my neck because I can get to that. And then just the last bit up here, super tricky. Okay. That's my first pass, and that's pretty good for me. Believe it or not, you might be thinking, what is he doing? But that is only 2 little nicks there. That's progress, believe it or not. Right, I'm just going to dry this blade off, giving it clean. There we are. We'll come back to that. I'll keep at it. Okay, over to the Black Beauty now. In here is a brand new Perma-Sharp blade. We'll go across the grain. So how do you find yourself in January? Do you have any intentions this year? People call them New Year's resolutions. That's fine, you know. Do you have any intent this year regarding wellness? You know, your health, physical, mental, emotional, all of those facets that make us who we are. I am having a good time in my movement practice. Over winter, naturally, I kind of slow down and draw myself indoors. and prepare for the spring. And I focus on my mobility and my strength also, but my mobility. And I suppose the moves and the patterns and the practice that I do is less dynamic, less explosive. And once spring and summer's here, then I'm outdoors, really kind of engaging with my MoveNat syllabus. That said, it is a hybrid syllabus, so there are elements of fighting monkey and various types of resistance training, some more, perhaps more conventional, more readily recognised aspects using kettlebells, that type of thing. Yoga, very important. Okay, second pass done. So much quicker with anything other than the Weck. We'll go for a third pass. A couple of little weepers down here from that first pass, but nothing really bad. I'm pleased to report that we think Sarah is getting somewhere close towards completion with the design, the packaging design for our vegan range. More on that later. I'll share more with you once the designs are finalised. But we're getting closer, which is good. It's been a lot of work and a long time in the making, over almost 3 years now. We'll be 3 years old next month, in fact. Incredible. A bit more water. I like my third passes, like my lather quite wet for my last pass. It's just where I am at the moment. Lovely. Okay, against the grain. Some exciting development stockist wise. We are speaking with West Coast Shaving over in the US with a view for them to carry us. What we're trying to work out at the moment is how can we get our aftershave splashes to you if you're in the US, or if you're in North or South America. It's quite tricky. Because alcohol is obviously a prohibited item in the context of shipping. Oh, a few weepers here. So how do we do that? And that's where we are at the moment. We're just exploring that. But we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll keep you updated. We are also speaking to a large company in Italy. With a view for them to become our distributor. So that's really good. Okay, just going to tidy up my sideburns. There we go. Nice. A few weepers under here, but I'm not unhappy with that. Nice shave. Okay, just getting the remnants of my lather, a little bit out of the bowl, into my face. And as always, as you might know already, I kind of treat this as definitely part of my post shave. But why not use it? if you are watching and you're over in the States, and you're a football fan, American football fan that is, which I am, I'm an Eagles fan, so I'm gutted to have seen them go out to the Saints, but there we are, it happens. But I just watched the highlights of last night's games, and a good pal of mine, he's a Texan, lives here in England, so as you might expect, he's a Dallas Cowboys fan, and he is spitting feathers about the Patriots and their result against the Chiefs. I don't know the game well enough to really understand why people dislike the Patriots so much. Feel free to comment. Be nice though. I've got an idea, but this pal of mine, Chris, just no, does not like them. But what gets him is I say to him that I'm not a fan of the Patriots, but you've got to surely admire just how incredibly well they've done, and just admire their systems that they have in place. And he agrees with me on that point, but that's where it ends. So anyway, let's get this off. There we go, first shave of 2019 done, and it feels amazing. Definitely. I know this is common ground for all of us wet shavers, but it really does sort me out. It really does make me feel a lot better. You know, I see the value in having a beard, definitely. You know, if I was an outdoorsman and worked in that sort of industry, then I might be bearded, short beard, well kept, well maintained beard. Definitely has its value. I think they look good, but that's not me. That's not my world for now. And I really enjoy a good wet shave. Okay, let's get some splash on. So the Star Noir aftershave. Really happy with this. Really pleased with the silage as well. The length of time that the scent. Oh wow, that burns. Last. Such a nice profile. Let's not waste it. Beautiful shave. Very happy with that. Okay, yeah, lots to talk about, but I'm short on time today. So yeah, I'll come back to you with more news. I'm Phoenix and Beau, just checking in. I hope you're well. Thank you for joining me. And as always, shave right, feel brilliant.